Hey YouTube, what you know good? He is the Reverend, this is Project KNM, and we are back with more of that fresh art goodness. Admittedly, not as fresh as it could be, and not as fresh as it should be, but let's be honest guys, life does not play fair. A lot of stuff has happened lately. A lot of stuff has happened, but it's about time to get back to it. By the time of this recording, I've actually got a little bit of free time. Not a lot, but enough to at least get back to doing this. So I'm going to just start, doing a few more of these voiceovers and just kind of dumping out as many videos as I can. And I think a good way to start and get back to it is what I said I was going to do earlier. In the previous video, if you've seen that one, or if you haven't seen that one, I said that I was going to show you guys what I did back in 2020 about all the OCs that I had drawn in the past. And this also includes a bunch of OCs of some associates, some friends, and fellow artists of mine. Instead of doing the Inktober, I decided I'll do the OC-tober, and this is the one I started with. One of the very first OCs I've ever drawn. This is a character that I came up with way back in elementary school. There was this was back when I was thinking that maybe if I didn't want to be a fireman I was going to be a comic book artist, and I had so many ideas and I just wanted to try some stuff out. Needless to say, the ideas in my head I couldn't necessarily flesh out as well as I can nowadays, but I still had some interesting ideas that I thought maybe if I, upgrade them and update them, that, we could actually come up with something pretty cool. Hence me redesigning this character right here. The comic idea way back in elementary school, it was a cross between the X-Men and the Power Rangers, if that makes any sense. It was essentially a group of like kids, but when they would transform, they would become, instead of like Power Rangers, they'd be like mutants, like the X-Men or something along those lines. I called it the Super X Squadron because, being a kid, I didn't have enough knowledge of ideas and concepts to actually be properly creative, but I also based a bunch of character designs on some of my classmates and things that we like. This is the character that was, as you could probably guess, inspired by me. This character was represented me as a kid. His name is Shadow Kid, and the idea was just partly due to the fact that even as a kid I had this fascination with, I refuse to call it an obsession, with death and darkness, and I wasn't necessarily afraid of certain aspects of the dark. The only thing that was bothering me as a kid is that I can't see where I'm going and I don't know who's trying to kill me. I think that's one of the big things people feared about, when they were a kid when it comes to the dark. But when it comes right down to it, certain things that, like the macabre, never really bothered me. I always thought they were kind of cool. And I think that's the reason why Shadow Kid was the one that represented me when I was coming up with this comic idea. When it comes to the design, though, and this is what makes me look back on my previous old ideas and just roll my eyes or facepalm in disgust. Although I admit it was still kind of cool that I was able to take a stupid idea like what inspired this and run with it. But the original idea for the Shadow Kid's design, I kid you not, it was from a my poor like elementary school memory, my crappy memory, and inability to remember what I saw when I first played Super Smash Brothers on the N64. What happened was, I cannot remember what the requirements were. I think it was clearing, like, I think it was clearing the story mode or ladder mode, whatever it was, the one player adventure mode. I think it was to clear it at a certain amount of time and at a certain difficulty without losing any of your stocks. I can't quite remember what the requirements were, but the thing is, once you do that, you get the whole, secret character challenge where, oh, warning, challenger approaching, and if you beat them, you unlock the character. I didn't beat him the first time because I was really thrown off by his jump and his up B, but that's why when I first was introduced to Ness from, the Mother series, Earthbound and whatnot. And him showing up is actually what inspired the initial design for Shadow Kid, because when he first shows up, he dashes onto the screen and with an explosion, and he's just covered in soot. Just comically, survive being set on fire, or survive an explosion. When a cartoon character is just covered in soot, you gotta shake it off. When I first saw that, I was like, what the? It just looked really cool. I thought that the character that I was going to fight was going to be this weird shadow character, and then he shakes it off, and it's just this little dude with a baseball hat. And it's like, huh. But that look stuck in my head. And I don't know why, but when I first saw it, he looked pissed off. If you actually see Ness when he does that, when he just shows up on the screen, he's smiling. Eyes looking like Kirby, but inverted, completely covered in black with white big old eyes and a tiny little smile. But when I first saw it, I didn't notice the smile, and I didn't notice the eyes were wide open. He looked pissed. At least that's how I remember it. And it just looked really, really cool to me. And I just took an idea similar to that and just adjusted a little bit, and I took it from there. It was a stupid idea, but with the proper writing and a good idea with it, you can make almost any stupid design work. But when it comes to updating it, which is what I'm doing right now, the idea that I was aiming for was to make it similar to another. Since I brought up mutants and X-Men, I decided to give it a particular, a Marvel feel. And if you look at the way we're gonna color this, or if you just look at the initial design of the head and the face, you might be able to tell what Marvel character inspired the redesign and the update a little bit. And if you can't tell, don't worry, I was gonna tell you anyway. This version is inspired by the Marvel character Blackheart, which is since I'm bringing up video games, is the character that I used in Marvel superheroes. Just a really cool design, in my opinion, and really just helped me get an idea of what I initially was trying to do with Shadow Kid when it comes to just the way the colors work on him. And I don't quite remember why his hair gets all spiky like that, or if it even is his hair. That might be a mask. I'm not entirely sure. But it was just it started out as a silly idea, but honestly, if I really work on it, I totally could make that particular comic idea work. I definitely wouldn't call it the Super X Squadron. That's just silly. I also want to turn it into a parody or something. it was supposed to be taken seriously, but I totally could make something interesting out of it. I mean, if freaking Boku no Hero Academia can do a thing with superpowered teens and high schoolers, like I could totally do something with the characters that I had to come up with, even though they were more like middle schoolers at the time. I could totally update it and whatnot. I can give it a shot. But yeah, that's the basic idea for Shadow Kid here, and I'm not entirely sure if I'm ever gonna go back to that idea, but I might, I could totally, now that I've been really getting back into 3D modeling, I could totally make a 3D model of the Shadow Kid and see what he looks like in 3D. I just might actually do that now that I think about it. Anyway, we're gonna wrap this up, and I'll leave you guys with one little question. If you guys have ever done so, if you've ever done like weird character ideas in your head, like growing up as a kid, if you ever like did pretend or whatnot, like in like grade school, if you just imagine yourself as a super hero or whatnot, what did you used to do? What did you used to come up with? Did you ever think you could? Did you ever think of like going farther with it? Did you ever write? Did you ever come up with your own original ideas and whatnot, and like write them down? Maybe try to make a story out of it, or maybe go back to what you like, look back on what you did in the past and be like, hey, oh yeah, I did do that. Just wondering. Yeah, let me know in the comments. I'm just one of the things I do here at Project KNM is to just let loose my ideas and unload a bunch of stuff in my head, but also I want to start some conversations. We're all creative minds here. Might as well go ahead and just get it out there. I'm more than willing to hear what you guys have in mind, and honestly, I think a lot of people out here who on YouTube and other forms of media out there have a lot of interesting ideas that could totally make a show. You guys could totally make a show or a comic or so whatnot. Sometimes you just gotta say it out loud and hear someone's opinion. So yeah, let me know what you guys used to do, and if you're still working on it, let me know. Like maybe I'll take some time to actually read or watch what you guys are doing. I'm always looking for new stuff. But with that said, I think it's time we go ahead and wrap this up. So as always, thank you for watching. Take it easy. Memento mori. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh, and since I mentioned 3D modeling, I think my outro this time will be a little 3D animation I did a while ago. Anyway, kill the feed.